Hi everyone, this is Heather. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I have a bit of a product review and a card tutorial for you. We're going to be making this cute Valentine's Day card with a little skunk, and I picked up some brushes recently that I wanted to share with you. So I've seen a lot of buzz online about some brushes from a company called Picket Studio. They're called life-changing brushes, and they're for ink blending. And I've also seen a lot of buzz about dupes that are out there that you can buy that are a lot less expensive. So I do a little bit of ink blending, but not a lot, so I wasn't sure that I really wanted to invest in a very expensive set. So I thought I'd try the dupes, and I found a set on eBay. I got these 10 brushes for only $6, and that includes shipping. So I thought that is a deal I cannot pass up to give these a try. So there's 10 different sizes, and these are traditionally makeup brushes for people to apply their makeup with. But a lot of people have been using them for ink blending. So this is a set of 10, and it has a very small kind of rounded brushes, some that are more like oblong, and then a little more oval and sort of roundish. So they have a plastic handle. This part is very sturdy. This part is a little flexible, but not super bendy. And then they've got these nice rounded soft bristles. One of the things that I really liked about these particular brushes is that they are made of a synthetic material. I don't use anything that has animal products, so it's hard sometimes to find makeup brushes or paint brushes, artist brushes that aren't made from animal fur. And so I really like these. They are plastic, but don't let that fool you because they are so soft. They feel like a really soft, like plushy stuffed animal. They're really, really nice. So I've been playing around with them a little bit. Personally, I found that this second to the largest size brush was the one that I got the best results with. So that is what I'm going to be using on our project today. And I will link in the description box below to the eBay listing of where I bought these brushes. So for the card that we're making today, I am using a new stamp set from the Stampin Up Occasions catalog. As always, sorry for my overhead lighting glare. This is Hey Love. I recently did a card with the little gorilla, so go check that out on my channel. It's got a crocodile, skunk, otter, a bird, a little hamster, some great words. I love this set. It's adorable. I'm also using the Be Mine Stitched Framelits dies. And these are some really great heart shapes with stitching. Some of them are solid. Some of them work with some of the stamp sets. This one's really detailed. This is a really, really beautiful die set. And I'm going to be using the scalloped border and the long hearts. So something else kind of trendy that I'm using today is the color. The Pantone color for the year is Living Coral. So you're going to be seeing a lot of coral pop up. I think it's going to be very popular and trendy in a lot of different mediums, and I've seen a lot of stampers kind of jumping on that. It is a beautiful color. It's not quite pink, it's not quite red. I really like it. So from Stampin' Up, I really like the Calypso Coral, and I've got paper and an ink pad today to work on the card. So I've got a black cardstock base, just an 8.5 by 11 sheet, cut, scored, and folded. A piece of Calypso Coral that's been cut to 5.5 by 4.5. Black strip that's been cut to 5 1/4 by 3. Another black piece that is just a little bit bigger than the size of the heart die. Then 2 pieces of white. This one is 5 by 2 3/4. This is what I'm going to stamp on. And then this is for the ink blending, and this is 3 3/4 by 2. So I'm going to start off ink blending on my smallest piece of white cardstock. I've gotten the second to the largest brush, and I just kind of like to roll it in the ink pad just lightly. You don't want too much ink to start off with. And all I'm going to do is just start at the left-hand side and begin to swirl and add some ink. And I'm just going to have a heavier coverage on the left-hand side, fading out to the right-hand side. So I'm just softly swirling this. You don't want to apply too much pressure so that it becomes blotchy. But the more that you layer on the color, the smoother that will get. So I'm just going to pick up ink, start at the end, build up that color, and slowly move to the right so that it's a lot lighter, almost white, but it has just a tint of that color. And this will take a little while to get it really blended up, where it's much darker on the left-hand side than it is on the right-hand side. Make sure you get it all the way to the edge. So I'm just going to continue what I'm doing and just build up that ink coverage until I'm really happy with that faded kind of ombre effect. So it just took a couple of minutes to continue building up that color to get that nice gradiated look, and I'm happy with the way that looks. So one tip I did want to share with you is cleaning off the brushes. I found just a dry or even damp paper towel just to kind of rub the bristles over it. Just helps to remove the color. They don't seem to stain too badly, so they seem to come clean pretty easily. So the next thing I'm going to do is take some black memento ink and my larger piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp my cute little skunk off to the left-hand side. I'm using memento ink because I'm going to be using some alcohol-based markers. So using my Stampin' Blends markers, I'm going to color in my little skunk, and to keep in color theme with the cardstock and the ink blending, I'm using Calypso Coral to color in his little nose and the hearts that he's tossing out. Do the inside of his ears in Pink Pirouette. Just give him some little cheeks there. And then using the light smoky slate gray, I'm going to color in his body, avoiding the stripe on his back and the stripe down his tail and his face. So I'm going in with the light color. I'm actually going to go ahead and do his belly in that color as well. So now that I have all the light gray, I'm going to go in with the dark and add some shading and shadowing. I didn't want to do black like a skunk would traditionally be because I thought that was just a little bit too dark. You'd lose a lot of the details. So this gray is still nice and dark to give the look of him being black. So I've added that dark for just a little bit of shadowing. I'm going to go back over with the light, kind of blend those two together. I didn't put very much of the dark on his belly. I wanted it to be a little bit lighter than the rest of him. If you want to go back in and continue to add a little bit more of the dark, just to get him as dark as possible, you can do that. So there's my skunk color, just really quick and easy. Now going back to my Calypso Coral ink, I'm going to stamp the words Hey Valentine in the lower right hand corner. And I almost forgot to give him a little bit of a shadow. I just didn't want it to look like he was just kind of floating in midair. So with the light gray, I'm going to add just a little bit of a shadow under there. And now taking the long strip of hearts and a couple of pieces of repositionable tape, I'm going to tape the die down so that it looks like these hearts are a continuation of the ones that he is scattering out. So I'm just going to take that in place, and I'm going to run this through my Big Cut die cut machine. So I have run this through my die cut machine, and I'm going to carefully remove the die, and then I'm going to bring over my Sizzix rolling tool to clean out the die. This is one of my all-time favorite must-have tools, this roller brush with the foam pad. You just roll your brush over top and it pops out all those little hearts. Be sure to save that stuff for a later project. And then I'll kind of roll it on the side just a little bit to start the shape popping through, and then really carefully pull that away. And we are going to save that for another project. Now that my die is clean, I'm going to run it through again on my smaller piece of black cardstock. And now that this has been run through the die cut machine, I'm going to do the exact same thing. And once again, I'm going to carefully remove the open heart section. So next on my piece of Calypso Coral, I'm going to tape down the die that is kind of the scalloped edge. I'm just sort of using my mat here just to make sure that it's straight. And I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. And this die gives you that really pretty scalloped edge. Now I'm ready to start assembling my card. I'm going to take my tape runner and add some tape around that piece of coral that we just die cut. I'm going to center that on my black cardstock base. And now I've brought over the piece that I have stamped and the piece that I ink blended, and I'm going to line up the edge of those two pieces in the back. I'm going to check and make sure that I'm happy with the gradation. I think that looks good. If you wanted to go in and add some more ink, you could. Once that's lined up, I'm just going to take some regular Scotch tape and tape that in place. So now I have that taped and I have that nice pretty gradation. I'm going to bring my scratched piece of paper back over. I'm going to take my open heart die cut and turn it over, and I'm using a glue pen, and very carefully I'm going to apply glue to the back of this die. Be really careful because it's very delicate and you could easily tear your die. Now that I have the glue on here, I'm going to bring my piece back over and I'm going to set this down inside the opening that we have die cut. It's like a little puzzle piece, and all of those little shapes are just gonna pop right down in there. So press down really, really well. Make sure everything is nice and lined up. Push all those little parts down in there. And I'm just gonna turn it over, and with my scissors, I'm just gonna carefully trim off those little pieces that are hanging off the side. Now I'm going to apply this piece to my larger black piece just with some tape runner. So I've got that centered on, and then on the back I'm going to add some foam squares. So I've removed the backing paper. I'm going to center this on my card base. And here's our finished card. I really love the gradation that those blending brushes gave me. I think the skunk is adorable, and this coral color is just really pretty and trendy. I think it's great for Valentine's Day cards. So I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I will link down in the description box below where I picked up my makeup brushes. And please check out my channel. I have lots of other card tutorials and product reviews for you, and I hope you have a very happy Valentine's Day. This is Heather. Bye.